So good morning, everyone. I'm Leanne House with Westworld Tours and Women Explorers. I will be facilitating the presentation this morning, and we welcome you to our virtual presentation on our Women Explorers Sip, Savour and Saunter tour to Portugal and Spain. Before we jump into the presentation, I have a couple of introductions. Joining us live today is our partner in Portugal, Maria. Maria has over 30 years experience as a tour manager across Portugal, showing the country to visitors. And in 1998, she founded Promenade Portugal. Welcome, Mariana. And Cindy Erickson, senior tour. Good morning. Good afternoon, I guess, to you. Your afternoon there.
Yes, we have an hour difference, so in our country is already afternoon. Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, perfect. Welcome. And Cindy Erickson, she's a senior tour director, senior tour coordinator with Women Explorers. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you, Leah.
And before turning over the presentation to Cindy and Mariana, I have a couple things I'd like to mention. So we have everyone on mute, but your input is greatly appreciated, and we welcome your questions at any time throughout the presentation. To ask a question, please type them into the Q&A box that's located at the bottom of your screen. If you've joined us from Facebook, you can type your question into the comment section. We will answer as many questions as we can at the end of our presentation. And throughout the presentation, we will be conducting a couple of pop-up polls asking for your participation by making a simple selection. If you are viewing on Facebook, the polls will not pop up, but you can type your response into the comment section. And here's our first poll. I'll just get that poll up here for you. Please let us know if you would like to sign up for our email newsletter. If you already get it, that's great. From Facebook, you can hit the message button and send us your email address if you'd like to sign up. And so you'll receive future invites to future presentations, as well as timely information on new tours. You won't be inundated with emails, and you can unsubscribe at any time. There may be a few more emails than normal right now as we keep everyone informed with our virtual presentation series. You can also sign up for a Westworld Tours email or both at this time as well. Okay, I'll just let everyone get that, get their poll in, and then we'll carry on. Okay, thank you. Okay, so as everyone knows, COVID has turned the world upside down, with travel impacted as much or more than any other industry. With the health and safety of our travelers and staff being our highest priority, we continually monitoring the situation, having canceled all tour departures up until the end of August. And with that, we understand your money trusted in us may be better used for other things. To respect that, we have refunded everyone that was booked on a canceled tour. It doesn't feel right issuing future travel credits. After all, it is your money, and you should decide when and where to travel, not us. So as mentioned previously, when the world was turned upside down, Westworld Tours and Women Explorers was there for you by ensuring all canceled tours were refunded in full. We want you, our guests, to experience the best, and just as we were there for you in the beginning, we will be there for you once again, ready to welcome you back on board. Our priority is to ensure the safety of our guests and staff while exploring, experiencing, and creating lifelong memories. With your welfare being top of mind, we have enriched our already robust health and safety protocols, giving you that much needed confidence to travel once again. With that being said, we are anticipating we won't travel until everyone is fully vaccinated, but in the meantime, we are making sure that we have all the protocols in place and doing all the extras to keep everyone safe. So we have a fantastic lineup of presentations coming up in the next month and a little bit here. So on August 18th, we hope you can join us for our Women Explorers Andes to the Amazon tour to Peru. On September 1st, join us at 7 p.m. as we California Dreaming Tour with Westworld Tours. And on September 8th, we will be introducing our new Westworld Tours Southern Charm Tour, traveling through the Carolinas and along the coast into Florida. let us know what future destinations you would like to travel to. If you have any suggestions, you can enter those into the Q&A box. And if you've joined us from Facebook, you can enter those in the comments. Or as always, you can send us an email. We love hearing from you and it helps us with future travel planning. So a little bit about Women Explorers. Women Explorers believes that travel is more than just seeing places. It's about experiencing them. Travel is about nurturing your senses, getting off the beaten path, and spending time with locals, savoring traditional dishes, exploring the landscape, touching the history around you, and so much more. Delivering a highly personalized and rewarding travel experience, our fully escorted small group itineraries are designed by women for women of all ages and backgrounds that share an adventurous spirit. Singles, sisters, friends, family members, and new friends you will make along the way. You can choose your own room, bring a friend along to share, or benefit from the Women Explorers guaranteed room share, where you are paired with another woman to avoid the dreaded single supplement. Offering soft adventure style tours, fashioned to enrich the lives of women by exposing them to new and exciting experiences through travel and friendship. Designed by women for women, there is no need to be physically fit to enjoy our tours. However, being physically active is important to have the best experience possible. It might be hard to believe it until you've experienced it for yourself, but traveling and getting to know women with a common interest can be as rewarding as the travel itself. We invite you to soak up the history, mystery, culture, nature, and adventure with us as we explore the globe together. So now on to our Portugal and Spain tour. We invite you to join us next fall, October 6th to the 20th on our Women Explorers tour to Portugal and Spain. Sip, savor, and saunter your way through Portugal and Spain with dynamic culture, compelling history, to die for cuisine. Portugal and Spain conjure an array of captivating images, from flamenco dancers and matadors to port wine and vineyards, towering Gothic cathedrals and ancient Roman ruins, to vast plains, high mountain peaks, and stunning coastline. Experience historic cities, enchanting palaces, fascinating culture, and architectural marvels. Explore the magnificent landscapes, uncovering hidden beauty as we travel off the beaten track. Walking along wonderful trails, past vineyards, quaint villages, and ancient countryside. Tasting local wines along the way, soaking up the history, culture, and nature that surrounds you. Now, before I turn the presentation over to Cindy and Mariana, our second poll today asks, when do you think you might travel to this destination? And I will just pop that up right now. So you can let us know if you're joining us from Facebook, when you think you might travel to Spain and Portugal, or even when you're thinking that you might travel at all. So that can be next year, 2023, within the next 5 years, or you're not sure yet. Or your bags are packed. You can let us know that too, because I know mine are. This is one of my bucket list destinations, so I'm ready to go. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, now I will pass it over to Cindy.
All right. Well, thank you, Leanne, and hi to everyone who's watching here this morning. We're very happy you're able to join us. And I put this slide in here to give you an overview of what the trip is and our route that we'll be traveling. I'm a very visual person, so I kind of like to have an overview and a look at where we'll be traveling through. So as you can see by the little airplanes on the map there, that our tour is going to start in Porto with our flight out of Canada into Porto. And then we'll be traveling up through the northern part of Portugal into the Minho region, which is known as the Green region, and exploring beautiful northern Portugal and the Douro Valley before we start heading south down through central Portugal and into southern Portugal and the Lisbon area, exploring time there, before we head east into Spain and ending in Madrid, where we will fly home from Madrid. And as you can see here on this slide, our tour highlights and inclusions. We have a lot of inclusions on this tour. Also would like to point out that we have multiple night stays in many of our stops. So you're not packing and unpacking every night. There is a lot of meals included as well. We've got breakfast daily, 4 dinners included, up to 8 lunches. Some of those are picnic lunches, which will be enjoyed in nature on our walks. And yeah, a lot of wonderful sites, a lot of UNESCO World Heritage sites, some beautiful locales, which Mariana is going to expand on and tell you all about the great places we're going to be seeing and staying. So lots of inclusions on this tour. So before now, I'm going to turn it over to Mariana. We've been working closely with Mariana on the ground in Portugal to put together a tour that's going to, bring out the best of everything. We'll get to into the smaller locales, some of the larger centers. It's a well-rounded tour, and Mariana has been wonderful to work with. She's very knowledgeable, over 30 years experience showing her country to visitors. And Mariana's philosophy is seeing Portugal with a smile, and that she stands behind. Yeah, she's got a great smile too. So Mariana, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's a pleasure having you here, and we can't wait for you to share your knowledge and experience about our tour. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, all of you that are attending this presentation, and welcome to Portugal. So I'm a Portuguese person, and the Portuguese normally like to welcome the tourists in our small country. Yes, in fact, our small country, because your country is 100 times more bigger than Portugal. Portugal is really very small country. We just have one border with Spain. So we are the most western country in Europe. And it will be a pleasure to introduce you this tour. We will start our tour in Oporto. Oporto is the second biggest city of Portugal. And then we welcome you at the airport, and we'll drive 1 hour up north. We go to your hotel situated in Vila Praia de Âncora. So the pictures that we have now in the screen are exactly Vila Praia de Âncora, the one with the main street where is located our hotel. The hotel is situated on the Portuguese Caminho da Costa. There are many pilgrims that always pass by this street. Perhaps you will have the opportunity to talk to them about their experiences, we never know. On the right side, on the top, we have the beach of Vila Praia de Âncora, because Vila Praia de Âncora is a nice fishing village full of traditions. It has a fishing port and also a beach. You can see the picture of the Hotel Mera, where we will have our welcome drink and the presentation of the program the first day. And the last picture on the right, it's a picture that transmits, that shows you the folklore of this region, Minho region. You can see a child playing accordion, like the groups that we have during some festivities, local festivities. And we also can see the aprons. You don't understand probably well, but it's the aprons that the ladies put on their costumes for the festival days. Can you please, Ren? Next slide, please.
Mariana,
yes.
I'm just curious, how many nights are we actually going to be in that location?
Okay, at this hotel, we will stay 3 nights. So the hotel is a 5-star hotel. It was built in 1935. It belongs always to the same family, so it's very familiar. You will be very welcome. It's already in the 4th generation, and it benefits for a unique location for outdoor activities like we are going to develop during our tour. It's just 2 minutes walking distance from the sea as well. It has 52 rooms and a nice restaurant. It has also an outside swimming pool.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next day we'll go to visit Ponte de Lima. We have the pictures already in front of us. So on the left we have one of the gardens of Ponte de Lima, and we can see also the avenue, the 25th Avenue Promenade, and on the right hand we can see the medieval bridge. So Ponte de Lima is situated in a milieu and is one of the oldest towns in Portugal. This story reflects in the assortment of ancient houses that we have, the pretty plazas, the grand religious buildings, always churches and chapels that are found in this town. There are small gardens, like we can see in the picture. There is also some museums. And the highlights of Ponte de Lima is exactly that ancient medieval bridge crossing the Lima River that we can see in the picture, and this charming paseo that we see in front. So from Ponte de Lima, we'll go for a hiking through the protected area of Lagoas de São Pedro and Arcos Bertiandos. And can you have this next one, please? Next slide. And then after our hiking, that will be about 9.5 kilometers approximately. It's very easy, so the difficulty is easy, very easy. And after our hiking time through the protected area, we will go to Viana do Castelo. So the pictures that we have already in our screen are for Viana do Castelo. Viana do Castelo was primarily an industrial city, being a major center for shipbuilding, but it's also a personable and likable destination. We can see in the right side the Basilica of Santa Lucia, where we get by a funicular up to the top, and from there we have a panoramic view over the region, so we can see the city, the Atlantic, the River Lima, and even Spain on the other side. On the left side you have the lady with the traditional costumes that are really very colorful and beautiful. This lady represents the traje de la verdadeira. That means that is a colorful costume that became a symbol of the local identity and pride. These costumes normally were usually by young women that were helping to attract a future husband. And nowadays they put it normally for festivals. The main festival in Viana do Castelo is the 15th August. And we have a big parade where the ladies are all dressed with these traditional costumes. So they are richly embroidered, handmade. And also one of the characteristics is the gold and jewelry that they put on. So more jewelry, more goldsmiths. It means that she belongs to a healthier family, and probably it's better, easier to get a bride to get married with. If you see the central and down picture, so it was the former town hall, very historical medieval building. And you can see another picture where I say written Viana. So sometimes in these traditional costumes, they write the name of the city where they came from, or their name or age or family name. During the visit of Viana do Castelo, of course, that we'll visit the museum, the Traditional Costumes Museum that is located in the center of Viana do Castelo. And there you'll discover the ethnographic richness of Viana's traditional costumes. So you'll see yourself. And after, to finish our day, we will go to taste the famous local pastry that is called the Bola de Berlim do Natário, that is produced in the most famous shop of Macario. It's a kind of custard-filled donuts.
Yum.
Nice. Yum, yum.
Yum.
Can we go for next, please? So this day we go back to the hotel in Vila Praia de Âncora. The day 3 Now we are already on the third day. We will discover the National Park Peneda Gerês. This is the only national park that we have in Portugal, and it spans roughly 270 square miles. So in this park, we'll go for a hiking also. It will be a circle route. So we'll start in Serra da Peneda, between two towns, the village of Peneda and Baranda das Bolsas, and we'll go through the slopes for a real adventure, slope to slope. And we'll go down, we'll see the church and the village at the bottom. So the picture that we have on the left side and the middle, they are another region that is Cistelo, that is called the little Portuguese Tibet, and you can imagine and understand why, because you just look to the pictures and the landscape with these different terraces reminds us and brings us back and immediately to Tibet. The other three pictures that we see, this one only the lake, natural lake, and the two on the right hand side, they belong to the Peneda National Park. These ones are Cistelo. We will go for also a walk in Cistelo. So first in the morning, we go to Peneda Gerês. We have our walking tour. Then we'll have some free time. And then we transfer back to Cistelo, exactly to start the other hiking. Cistelo is a village, so located in the middle of Peneda Gerês in the national park. And the source of the Vez River, it's the name of the river. Cistelo is very famous for these terraced landscapes. So we will go for a small one, that small hike, about 5 kilometers. It's very easy, but the landscapes and it's amazing, you know. You can feel, if I can say this, the sound of the nature. It's so peaceful, so charming. I'm sure that we'll enjoy it because all of us are running all the time, so busy lives, that when we arrive there, we can forget everything and just turn to the nature and to inside ourselves. It's really very relaxing and very nice. I can make you sure that is one of the best moments that you can have when you'll be there, very peaceful and nice. Now we go back to the hotel, and next day we'll have another journey. So we'll start our journey in the morning in Braga. These two pictures on the left are exactly from Braga. Braga is one of the Portugal's oldest cities. It was also an ancient seat of religious power. So we have bishops in this city since the 4th century, and there are many, many religious traditions. You can see this arch in the picture on the left, that is Arco da Porta Nova, that gives access to the old city. And during the Holy Week, we have many festivals, religious festivals in these streets. So the streets are all decorated. They have flowers on the floors. You can walk and take the street made in flowers with different colors. So it's really very beautiful and very typical. Braga is a city that means too much for me because it's a mix with modern and old city, you know. My son studies 4 years in Braga, so I used to go there very often to visit him, and I know the city quite well also. And it's really very nice. You can see the picture with the ladies talking just in front of a small local shop, buying fruits. So the life is very calm there. There is quality of life, I can tell you. And then in the afternoon, we go to Guimarães. Guimarães is declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO since 2001 and was the capital of the European culture in 2012 and European City of Sports in 2013. It's also considered the cradle of the nationality for the Portuguese. The Portugal is the oldest country in Europe. Our nationality is the oldest one. The country, as it is itself, it starts in the beginnings of the 12th century, when the Portuguese king Afonso Henriques conquered the country and made it geographically more or less like it is still nowadays. By the way, Portugal is nowadays formed by this country in the continent, but we also have some islands. We have Madeira Island and we have Azores Islands in the Atlantic. But now we are focusing our tour that is in Guimarães. We will start our hiking tour in the afternoon in the historical center. We'll cross some of streets like this one that is in the picture on the right side down. And then we'll go to Penha. Can we go to the next one, please? Next slide. Okay, thank you. We start in the middle of Guimarães, and then we go walking up to Penha mountain, and where we will have the Penha sanctuary, that is a symbol of faith that you can see on the left picture, and it's a monument of singular beauty and architectural and religious value. We will visit this area, we will discover, and then we will come down by the cable. You can see the cable on the picture. This path allows for a walk in the historic center and also to Penha. Penha is considered more or less like the length of Guimarães, you know, where predominate granite formations, cliffs, caves, grottos, and especially the Penha sanctuary that we'll also have a look at. This hiking distance will be about 6.5 kilometers, and the difficulty is moderate because it's climbing up, so we need some energy to go up. But once that we are up, you will be very happy because you can dominate all the area around, looking around and to see in all directions. So it's also a nice day. And then we'll go back, we'll go to another hotel. So after 3 days, we'll change for Penafiel Hotel, Park Hotel, that is situated in Penafiel. And once that we are in Penafiel, we go to explore and discover the Alvão Natural Park. And you can see that the landscape changed already. We have already inland area in the region of Vila Real, and it's a circle path where we can find several rare endemic species. From the top of the mountain, we can see the Lady of Graça sanctuary. The tour of Portugal is passing through these several typical villages of the region where we are going also. So we can see 2 pictures of the houses, the kind of houses that we will see during our morning. So the one on the left is not used anymore, used to be in former times, but the second one that you can see on the right of the screen is still used for people living in. Normally, on the ground floor, we have the animals and the instruments to work the lands and the tools, sorry. And on the first floor, the families are living on. And look at the roofs that are in schist, so they are made in schist. And now we can see some cattle. We can see the goats that we found very often during our hiking. So don't be scared, they are friendly. And we will have the opportunity to see them, to make some picture with them while we follow our circle path. We'll start and finish at the same point. Can we go to the next, please? Okay, so we are still in the same park. We are still in the Alvão Natural Park. The vegetation is very different. We have oak groves. Sorry, what's wrong? Okay. We can see two old ladies, you see, and they are dressed in black. This is a tradition. Not the young generations, they don't do it anymore, but the old ladies, mainly in these old villages, they keep tradition. They keep, when someone of the family is dead, they put clothes black on, and since the end of their lives, they are still dressed in black. This is a tradition that young generation don't keep anymore, but in this small village, they still keep it on. We have some picture of the park. You can see one of the village in the bottom of the mountains. We can see also the bridge and even the water mill on the right. You see the yellow. So this is a water mill that luckily we will also pass by during our hiking tour on this day. Leanne, next one, please. Okay. And after we go to Villarreal, and we will visit this beautiful palace that you have in the picture in the center of the screen. Is Solar de Mateus. It's like a magical place. Solar de Mateus was built in 1744 and has marked the landscape of the region with the glow of the Baroque. This palace has a rich collection inside that with furniture, with the paintings, with chandeliers, and really Baroque style. So one characteristic of the Baroque is that we have the white walls and all the frames around the windows and the doors and all the staircases are all decorated and ornamented. In this case, in this palace, it's with granite stone. This palace has beautiful gardens. We have on the left we have the majestic Cedar Tunnel. On the right we have the traditional, so it remains the original gardens in French style, like a labyrinth. And down with the flowers, it's the rose garden with lots of colors and aromas. And to finish, you have a bottle, and this bottle is the most famous wine produced in Solar de Mateus because it's a rosé wine. It's very appealing and bright hue. It's a fresh and seductive wine with fine and intense bouquet, and should be served chilled in a flute or in a tulip shaped red wine glass. And normally we serve it between 6 and 8 degrees. These bottles are very famous because of their shape, but also because of the labels, because the labels has exactly this palace, Solar de Mateus, that we'll visit when you are in Portugal. And probably you know already these bottles because I know that they are exported to your country. So probably you have already one of them or you taste already them, this Mateus Rosé original wine. Okay, and the next day we go to the Douro Valley. Douro Valley is already inland. Douro Valley because we have the river, the Douro. The Douro River is the third largest river in the Iberian Peninsula, and it runs from about 890 kilometers from Spain to Oporto, where we have the mouth of the river into the Atlantic. The river forms parts of the border between Spain and Portugal, And today, this wide and beautiful frontier landscape is protected by the authority of the Douro International Park. So we'll go to Douro Valley in the morning. We'll have a circle road. We go to Fragas Mas and Alijó through several sections of the Roman road. And we will overlook the Tua River, another one. And it's more or less moderate, the difficulty, and it's about 10 kilometers approximately. The pictures you have in the screen is on the top the dam, one of the dam. In fact, we have 6 dams all along the Douro River. On down we have the vineyards, this one with the autumn colors already. The vineyards that produce the grapes for to produce the port wine. And on the right side, we have a picture of a landscape of Douro Valley, and we can see a farm, a wine producer very close there in the picture with view to the river. And as you can see, it's mountainous. So the vineyards are all planted in different levels, in terraces. The job of the harvest is really very, very hard in this area because of this situation, because of the land, you know, that is on terraces, and they must carry down all the grapes to the trucks to bring it to the wineries. Next slide, please. Okay, so we still have the Douro. We have a picture of some people hiking in the Douro region. And on the right side, on the top, we have one of the landscapes that you'll enjoy during your stay in Douro. And with all the vineyards already with this color. Here, the harvest will be probably in October. Who knows if next year it will be also in October, and we'll be lucky to attend to it or to participate. This year, it was not a very warm summer, so the grapes were not still sweet enough and big enough for the harvest, and the harvest will start later. So probably who knows if next year we are lucky and we'll also have the same, and we'll attend to this. I'm sure that we'll enjoy. And the colors, the Douro, all the seasons is beautiful, you know, the landscape, because all the seasons have different colors and aromas. So different seasons you go to visit it, you fall always in love with this area of Douro. By the way, the 2 pictures that Leanne and Cindy have behind them are exactly Douro. So I think that you like it a lot. Huh? And to end our day in Douro region, we will have a wine tasting in one of the wine producers, local wine producers. And then we go to Pignon. Pignon is one of the most, so Pignon, we can see the landscapes, and I will focus first on the picture that has the down in the center, that has the times, sorry. It's the railway station of Pignon. It's one of the most beautiful railway stations in Portugal. It's located in the heart of the Douro region, and the station facades are decorated with 25 panels of azulejos. Azulejos is the glazed tiles. In Portuguese, we say the name azulejos, that it became from the Arabic word al-zalige. In Portuguese, we say azulejos. In Arabic, it means the polished stone. So use the name because we learn with them to produce them, and then we develop the different techniques to produce them in our country. And this railway station is really an attraction in Pignon because of these panels of azulejos that portray the work in the vineyards and the local landscapes. This is really the main attraction in this zone. So we have some more pictures of the Douro Valley around, so we can see the river and one of the bridge, and we can see the different colors that I told you. So different seasons, different colors, different aromas. And this day we'll go back to Penafiel, to the same hotel. Then, please. I don't know if I mentioned you, but the Douro winemaking region was declared also World Heritage Site in 2001 by the UNESCO. Okay, and now we go to the city. We have been in the countryside enjoying nature, and now we go to the city. This is Porto. This is the second biggest city in Portugal. It's the capital of the north. And we say Lisbon is the capital of the country. There is a rivalry between the two cities, so we say that is also a capital. The picture that you have on the left, it's inside the railway station of São Bento. It's really a beautiful railway station. So we have many panels with different azulejos, so the glazed tiles that show us different episodes of history, of battles, and on the top around we have different colors. It's about the kings and queens and about different stories. So all the walls are completely full and filled with the panels with the glazed tiles. In the center we have one of the pedestrian streets of Porto, Women Xplorers. On the right, on the top on the right, we have the Igreja de Carmo, the Carmelitas. It's a church from the 18th century, also in Baroque style. And the outside of this church is completely covered with the tiles, azulejos, blue and white, because the different colors, the different patterns represent different periods. When you have these panels with designs and blue and white, normally they correspond to the 18th century. And close you have the fountain of the lions fountains that has 4 statues of lions. And down you have a picture of Ribeira. Ribeira is the old section of Porto, is really very typical. Some of the buildings there date back from the 14th century. And if you look, you can see some of the buildings close to the river. They are built on arches, arcades. And why? Because at that time, we didn't have the 6 dams in the Douro, you know, so we could not control the level of the waters. And during the season of the rain, the water goes up and sometimes they were flooded. And to avoid this, they start building the houses on the arches. So and if you look behind, we can discover a tower close to the sky. It was Clérigos Tower. And of course, this day, thank you. So Clérigos Tower is from 18th century also and made by Italian Niccolò Nazzoni. And now it's the time to challenge, because we'll go to visit atelier of azulejos, and you will have time to put your imagination and your artistic skills on the tile, because we have an atelier, a workshop at Alba and Marisa. Alba and Marisa are 2 friends that in the year 2016 founded a workshop, Azulejos do Porto. It's a non-profit project to catalog and preserve all Porto facade tiles, because there are so many beautiful facades in Porto with a different kind of tiles, and some of them were falling down, some of them were taken out, and so she loved so much the tiles and want to preserve them that they started together this project, and it's being a success. And they organize workshops at their place. You can see the room. It's not a large room, so it's very familiar, it's very intimate, and it's time to put our artistic skills on and to paint your own tile, azulejo. You will make the mold of the tile, so the square, and then you can paint it. You can copy from a model, or if you just want to create your design and your style, you also can. You are free to do what you enjoy. And after this workshop that will talk take about 1 hour, we will go to finish our day in Vilanova de Gaia. It means in the right bank of the river, we have the city of Oporto, and on the opposite bank, on the south, we have Vila Nova de Gaia. And in Vila Nova de Gaia, we have huge buildings. All of them are port wine cellars. And we will visit one of them. We'll have a visit where the local guide of the cellars will explain you all procedures for the port wine. We have the Tawny, the Robe, the LBV, that is the late bottle vintage. So we will learn a lot about the port wine. And then after the visit, you will taste the wine. Of course, it's time to enjoy and to taste, to learn the difference between a Ruby or a Tawny or a LBV. The beautiful picture that we have just in the middle of the tree, the one in the center, represents Oporto with the bridge of Luís. It's a metallic bridge from the 18th century, and that is a boat. I would like to talk to you about this boat. This boat is called the Rabello, and in the former times when we didn't have roads and high roads, the wine that was produced in the Douro Valley was transported in barrels to Porto, to the wine cellars, in these kind of boats, Barco Rabello. Nowadays, they are on the river just for exhibition, and some of them, they were adapted, and we also can have cruise ships along the river. Okay. Next day, we'll drive south, from north to south, direction to Lisbon, but on the way, we will stop in Coimbra. The picture that we have on the left side on the top is still Porto city. So it's a perspective of Porto. We can see the cathedral, the old cathedral, really on the top. We can see the bridge on the other side, the Belvedere of Senhora do Pilar. On the left down, you have the old cathedral of Coimbra. Coimbra is attached to the banks of Rio Mondego, the river, and it's one of the most historic towns that we can visit. We have ruins from the Romans, we have medieval buildings, and it's also in Coimbra that we have the first university. It was built in 1290. So the picture that we have is the old cathedral. Then in the middle, we have a palace in Bussaco. It was the hunting pavilion of the last kings of Portugal. And nowadays, it became a 5-star hotel. It's also a spot that you cannot miss. It's beautiful. And it's with the beautiful gardens and the park all around. So it's really a very cool atmosphere. And on the right, we have one picture of the old streets of Coimbra. As you can see that the streets are very narrow in the pedestrian area, in the historical center. It's a city full of traditions, and we can see some tiles on the facades. And Coimbra became really very, very well known all around the world due to the university. This university is visitable, and the main attractions in that university is the library, Joanina Library, that's from the 18th century, and all decorated with gilt carved wood and paintings and beautiful ceilings with the frescoes and paintings. And there is also another interesting point to visit at the university, that is the St. Michael Church, also from the 18th century. Coimbra is known like the students' city. It's a city where there are many young people, so it's very alive. And then we drive down close to Lisbon, we go to Estoril. During the Second World War, Estoril became the preferred destination for the European aristocracy, and several famous personalities elected Estoril as their official residence. So you look to these pictures and you feel immediately that there are big houses and big palaces from the two last centuries. Just the big one in front is the Palace of Tamariz, situated in Estoril. On the right and on the top, we have the big Praia dos Pescadores, that is the fisherman beach in Cascais. And at the end, we can see two more palaces. In the middle, we have the beach of Tamariz, a very elegant beach. And down, we have the palace. We have the palace in Cascais, where nowadays is a library. And this house still have a private beach. So you can feel that Estoril is really very aristocratic. The writer Jan Fleming, he contributes also to the dissemination of Estoril to the world, because when he wrote the Casino Royale with the so emblematic James Bond, we will stay 2 nights in Estoril at the hotel, so we will have time to enjoy and to discover all these beauties. Next day, we'll go to Sintra. Sintra is a beautiful place in Portugal. Okay, I'm just seeing our day. So we'll be the day 9 in our tour. Day 9, we go to Sintra to spend the day in Sintra, and will be a fully day, you know, because during this day we'll have the visit of 3 palaces. So all of them take time to enjoy, to absorb all the beauties that we have to show to you. And it will be really a very, very active day. So the pictures that we have in front of us are the city of the historical center of the village of Sintra. Sintra has a microclimate, probably is the reason why our kings choose the place to build their summer residences, and it's the reason why nowadays we have so many palaces to visit, luckily. But it's also very interesting to just walk up and down this staircase around in the narrow streets of Sintra to discover the local souvenirs, the local handicrafts, to drink coffee and just to enjoy the atmosphere. So we'll start our day visiting Pena Palace. Next, yeah. So this is like a fairy tale when you look to these pictures. This is Pena Palace. It's a palace that was built at the 19th century by order of King Fernando Saxe-Gotha. He was German, and he was married with our Portuguese queen. And he built this palace for a naughty reason, because he had a mistress, an opera singer, and he built this palace just on the bottom of the park, on the bottom of the mountains, to be with the mistress. That was an opera singer, very famous at that time. So this palace, Pena Palace, is a mix of terraces, of decorative battlements, metallurgic statues. You can see, for instance, on the right, that one, you can see the towers. We have different shapes. We have round. We have so many decorations and different levels, and lots of rooms to discover one after one, with the beautiful furniture from that time, beautiful paintings, and we will learn a lot about our Portuguese culture, about our habits and our traditions when you visit, during the visit of the Pena Palace. And outside, it's also beautiful because the environment is a beautiful park that you'll also visit, because we go by bus, but then we can walk in this park. So the beauty of the palace contrasts to the lush greens of the park and the forest. Then we will go down from Pena Palace, we go down to the center to visit another palace, this one. This is situated in the city, the old city of Sintra. It used to be a summer residence for the kings and queens. It was start being building in the 14th century, but then along the centuries, it was transformed and more buildings were increased. It has a characteristic that everybody never forgets. That is the two distinctive chimneys that you can see in the picture. They are cone-shaped chimneys. They are 33 meters high. This palace is different from the first one. This one was built first, so it's older, and the inside is completely different because we have many patios, we have many tiles inside the different rooms. It's a fresh atmosphere and it's different from the other. You will visit the big kitchen inside where you can look up to the chimneys and learn a lot of our culture. They needed such a big kitchen because during summer, when the kings spend the holidays there, they have always lots of guests, and the meals at that time was something spectacular because it was lots of different dishes. It's like a ritual, you know, you can see like a ritual. Even nowadays, we like to eat very well in Portugal, and our gastronomy is quite good, and all the tourists, they love our food. One of the tops is the food, Portuguese food. So we will visit the palace. There are some stairs up and down, but we are sporty people, so no problem, we are courageous, we'll do it. And the picture that you can see on the left of the screen is one of the rooms. It used to be the office of the king, and it's called Sala dos Brasões, the coat of arms room, because all the ceiling around is decorated with many portraits, and in different portraits is a coat of arms of a noble family of Portugal from that time. It's the reason why you call it Sala dos Brasões. All the walls around are also decorated with the tiles, azulejos. As we see, we are the country of azulejos. We love it, and they are really beautiful. Different models, different patterns. And in this palace, it's not the Azulejos Museum, but we can consider it like a museum because inside you will see different kinds of azulejos. Even if you look at that patio, in the picture in the center, you can see that we have tiles, green and white, and they are geometric. They are one of the oldest in this palace. We have some tiles that were from the 14th century, 15th century, and there you can see the different techniques that we were using and producing and developing all along the centuries to arrive to nowadays. So it's also a very interesting palace to visit, the Villa Palace. Palácio da Vila. And then we will walk until Palácio da Regaleira. Quinta da Regaleira was bought by a Portuguese that make a fortune in Brazil in the 19th century. He was trading with coffee and with precious stones. And then when he come back, he ordered the building of this beauty palace that you can see the picture on the right and down. It's a house with the 5 levels, and the ceiling has so many pinnacles, like they are going up to the sky, but it's made on purpose because this place evokes Freemasonry, Templars, and the Rosa Cross. We mix, how can I explain, mythology, mysticism. So it's really a place very, very special, and we'll feel the atmosphere. The palace is surrounded by lush gardens, by lakes, like you can see in the pictures, caves, enigmatic buildings, places that hide alchemical meanings. So it's really a very, very special place where you spend the time to enjoy, to discover, to observe, to listen. The picture that you have on the right side on the top is the hell, the starting hell, as we call it. And to go to that hell, you need to go on a twisted staircase down, you know. So it's really a unique experience that you'll have during our tour, visiting Regaleira Palace. And then the day is not finished yet. So after visiting 3 palaces, we just go by the coast. Thank you. And we will go to Cabo da Roca. The picture that you see on the left, on the top, represents Cabo da Roca. Cabo da Roca is the most western point of Europe. There is a lighthouse, and we'll stop there where we'll have, it's always very windy, so be prepared there because at Cabo da Roca it's windy, but it's a place also very mystic. You can observe the Atlantic, and it's like that it never ends. You lose the line. In Cabo da Roca, there is something that probably you can buy if you enjoy, because there is a tourism office where you can go there and you buy a diploma, a certificate, where they write your name on, and this certificates, of course, that you have been physically in the most western point in Europe. So probably something that you'd like to do is to buy that. It's why I talk about it. So after Cabo da Roca, we'll follow the coast to Praia do Guincho and the Cascais. No, please go back, Lenny. Back. Up. To Cabo da Roca, please. One more. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. I was talking about Boca do Inferno. So Boca do Inferno is situated on this picture down, and the sea is very rough, very strong streams, and the sea comes into the rocks and is excavated like a well that is called Boca do Inferno, the well's mouth. It's not navigable. You cannot swim there. Don't try, please. Never think about it. And if even there is no vegetation, you see that is rocky, but not high vegetation. And why? Because it's a very windy place, and the vegetation does grow up. Even along the road, there are a few pine trees, and you will realize that all the time pine trees are a little bit climbed to inland, because the energy of the wind that flows from the sea coast forces them to grow up to the inland, you know, so they are all turned to the inland. So it's Cascais. Then we go to the hotel, and in the evening we'll go for a dinner in Lisbon to listen to the fado. You will have a fado experience. So you have the picture of a guitar on the right side on the top. This round-shaped guitar is the Portuguese guitar. It's typical only in our country, and it has one characteristic. Beside the shape, it has 12 strings instead of the normal 6 strings to play the guitar. So it's much more difficult to play, but at the same time, it gives much more different sounds. It produces different sounds. So during the evening, during your fado experience, you will listen to some men or women singing fado. Fado is a story about Portuguese history, but in song. It expresses saudades. Saudades is a name that there is no translation for any other language. It's a term that it looks something like an emotion that makes nostalgia and melancholy and sadness. But there are also some fados that are very happy and gay. Normally, the fado singers, they are always accompanied by 2 players. One player of the classical guitar and one by the Portuguese guitar that I told you. Thank you, Lenny. Thank you. We go for the next. Okay, we go to Lisbon to discover our capital. So day 10, we have our walking tour to discover the capital of Portugal. Lisbon is the biggest city in Portugal. We have about 2,800 inhabitants. And it's really amazing, the light of this city. Everybody that goes to Lisbon is falling in love with light. It's really very, very special. And you will only understand it when you will be there and you will feel it. Then you will think, oh, Mariana was correct. In these pictures, we have on the right, on the top, Rocio Square, that in fact is called the Praça Pedro V. You can see the fountain in the middle of the square, but we also have a column, and the top of the column, a statue. It represents King Pedro from Portugal that gave the independence to Brazil. And behind the column, you have a white building. It's the National Theatre in Lisbon. So we can see that this square is more or less considered the heart of Lisbon. And you see the floor of this square is like waves. This is really very typical in Lisbon. When you walk along the streets in Lisbon, you'll discover beautiful sidewalks, all decorated with the black and white stone. The black is basalt and the white is limestone. And the two different colors together, they can make contrast and like puzzles. And please look to the one on the right down in Chiado. It's calçada, so it's all made by stone and by hand. It's like a puzzle with small pieces that they need to put all together to make this result and these beautiful designs. This is something very exclusive from Lisbon that you don't find in other countries, more or less, unless that was colonized by Portuguese years before. And we have Belém Tower picture, of course. To come to Lisbon, we are obliged to talk about Belém Tower. Belém Tower was a fortress built in the 16th century, and it was built for defensive purposes, to protect Lisbon from the attack of the enemies that could arrive from the seaside. And nowadays it's empty, so there is no collections, no exhibitions inside, it's empty, but of course that we need to see it from the outside at least. And the style of decoration is a very Portuguese style, unique from Portugal, that is called Manueline style. Is a style of decoration and architecture that we use in Portugal that is always inspired by the sea and by the navigation and the discoveries. It's really the work in stone, but like lace, you know, the elegance of the details that we can find in this kind of decoration, like the armillary sphere, the crosses, the ropes, the notes. So it's really beautiful. I'm sure that we'll enjoy to discover and watch all the details that you can see in Belém Tower, in Jerónim's Monastery, and all these monuments in Belém section. But of course, Lisbon is a mix of experiences and different things, because we also have the streets and the street on the left. It's called the Pink Street because the floor is painted on the pink color, and is one of the most well-known for bars and the restaurants and the discos, so for nightclubs. So in Lisbon, you can have culture, you can have amusement, you can have history. There is a complete offer in our capital. So we'll have a guided tour in the capital, in Lisbon. And of course, we cannot forget to taste the pastel de nata that is considered one of the 7 gastronomic wonders of Portugal. And then after we can go to Spain. So in the afternoon, we'll drive through Portugal to the border, to Elvas, Badajoz, and we will arrive to Cáceres, Spain. Welcome to Spain. Ole! So, Saint Cáceres, we can say that is like two cities in one, because down below lies the busy and the traffic-ridden and frankly charmless modern city, and while above it's in a promontory we have medieval walls, and inside we have the silent and slightly mysterious Casco Viejo. All buildings are inside the fortresses. And these pictures shows us some of the beautiful places. You were okay? Leanne, go to Cáceres, please. Come to Spain. Okay, we travel so fast between countries. It's amazing. Thank you, Leanne. So I'm talking about this place that is Cáceres in Spain. So the picture that we have is Plaza Mayor, and you can see a tower. That tower that you can see is the tower Torre de Borraco, and it makes part of a collection of towers. There used to be 20 towers all along the fortress, but nowadays we only have 16. The most famous is this one in the picture, that is the Torre de Borraco, and there is another one that is Hahea, but the others, so it was 20, but now we only have 16. So the city is surrounded by the old walls. For instance, you can see on the picture on the right side hand a night light picture, but that gives you the idea how is the old Cáceres. So we can see the fortress, the walls around, and in the middle the old buildings and monuments. This arch that you can see in the picture in the middle of the three collection pictures is one of the arches that gives access to the whole town, because it's a wall, and then to go in you need to pass by some under some arches. This is one of the arches that is called the Porta, to go into the old Casco Viejo of Cáceres. And down we have a nice picture of people enjoying Cáceres, making pictures and playing a little bit and enjoying life in the Plaza Mayor. We sleep in Cáceres, and next day we'll go for a hiking tour. Next, okay. So normally we visit Cáceres one day and we do this Camino next day, but we need to play together with the days that the museums are closed or open, and we pay attention to these details, not to disappoint you, and it's why we changed the order. So the program is respected, but the order was a little bit changed just because of this, to make everything make possible to do and to visit. So it's why we will visit we'll do the hike, the Camino de la Plata, from Cáceres to Casar. We'll cross Cáceres, and then we go to Casar de Cáceres. We'll go by the old Roman road, one part of the Roman road, like you can see in that picture on the right side down. And we will pass beautiful places. We'll see some cows. That's normal, because it's the cows that produce the milk to produce the queso de Casar, so the cheese. Is a melted cheese that is delicious, and after our hiking we will go to visit a factory that produces this cheese, and of course cheese tasting, but wine tasting as well together. This precious cheese is made with raw chips milk and vegetable rennet that is called in Latin Cinara cardunculus. I don't know if you can know this product, and it undergoes intense proteolysis in its maturation process until it becomes a soft paste ideal for spreading. And the fermentation keeps in secret, but we were trying to discover the secret, and we listened from some people that the fermentation, that the secret of maturing for at least 6 days lies in keeping it in a cold and humid environment with periodic turning to achieve the consistency of its rent. So this is the secret of the cheese. They didn't want to tell us, but we discover. So this day in the morning, we will go for the walk in Camino de la Plata. That makes part of the Caminos from Santiago de Compostela. And then we will have this cheese and wine tasting. And then we come back to Cáceres again. Okay. And next day is a cultural day. So we'll visit the city. We'll have a walking tour in the city with a local guide that will explain everything about Cáceres, about history, monuments, culture, and we will discover and visit, of course, the museum, the municipal museum of Cáceres. This museum was inaugurated in 1933 and is housed in two historic buildings in the historic town center of Cáceres. That is declared, Cáceres is declared Human Heritage Site by UNESCO. This museum is in two buildings, as I was telling you. So the museum is that picture that you can see on the left side down that has a flag, the flag of Spain. So this is the museum, and it has two buildings. The Casa de las Veletas, this one in the picture, that houses the archaeological and ethnographical sections since the Paleolithic until the Middle Age. So we have Roman culture, we have different exhibitions. We have at least 17 rooms with different kind of collections and exhibitions. You can see in the picture one of them. And also the fine arts collection that is housed in the Casa de los Caballos. But all of them are the same museum. And also in this museum, there is a curiosity that is the cistern. You can see the picture on the left, on the top left, is the cistern, is an Islamic cistern that was called Ajib. So we think that this cistern belonging to a mosque that existed at that time during the Islamic domination in the peninsula. It was not Portugal either, in Spain. So they came, they dominated the peninsula, and then they built this mosque. And later on, it was used to store the rainwater to supply the army, to supply water to the army during the 12th century when we start the Reconquista to conquer the country to the Muslims. So, and still keeps till nowadays and still has the water that comes from the rain into the cistern. It's also a very special place to watch and to know. So we can see some of the arches that gives access to the old town. And we have a little stork also there looking at us. In fact, 20 years ago, the storks were most extinguished in our country, but nowadays we have many. And in Portugal, you used to say to the children that the storks bring the babies from Paris. So when we are expecting a baby, we say, oh, your brother or sister came from Paris, it's a stork that will bring it to us. So we have our stork. So we will spend our day in Cáceres. After the museum, you'll have free time to enjoy and to explore on yourself. We sleep in Cáceres again. And then next day, we move to Madrid. Madrid is the capital of Spain. And in Madrid, in the morning, we will have a walking tour with a local Spanish guide speaking English, and we'll visit the most interesting points of Madrid. We will see that on the picture we have Casa Cibeles with the Palace Cibeles behind, and we have the fountain with Cibeles on a car pulled by the two lions that symbolizes the power. So this is one of the most well-known squares in Madrid. It's close to Gran Via, and it's well-known. Every road came to this square, more or less. On the right side, you have a picture of Madrid and the river that is Manzanares. Manzanares is the river that passes through Madrid. Down in the middle, we have a picture of a Plaza Mayor, La Plaza Mayor. And then we have on down, the first picture is a picture from the architecture of Madrid. Madrid, in the center, we don't have very high buildings, not normally 3, 4 level buildings. The architecture is really very equilibrated, very balanced, you know, very equilibrated. It's very nice, beautiful facades in stone. And this one is from Gran Via, that is one of the most famous streets in Madrid, the center of Madrid. And then we have the bear. So in Puertas del Sol, it's where we also have the kilometer zero from start, where we start counting all the kilometers for different directions of the country. And also the most famous clock is in that square, Puerta del Sol. And the picture on the right is the Crystal Palace in the Parque del Retiro. Parque del Retiro, that is also a very nice place, very fresh. It is huge, with fountains, with lakes, with different kind of vegetation. So we will have time to discover also this Parque del Retiro in Spain, because it's also one of the most famous. And if you have time, why don't you go to Museo del Prado to have a look? I leave you the suggestion, okay? So at the end, we have our farewell dinner in Madrid. So we'll go for a flamenco show. Can we go to the next one, please? Okay, thank you. So we can have some pictures still from the city center of Madrid. And then we have a lady dancing with a red dress. So she's dancing flamenco. The unforgettable and energetic show of flamenco is made up of singing, playing the guitar, the Spanish guitar, not the Portuguese one, and dancing accompanied by vocalizations and rhythmic sounds, and hand claps and finger naps. You know, they play the finger naps. And with that, they make different sounds and they dance and balance their bodies. It's so elegant, so a live show, completely different from the Portuguese fado. So you will have the opportunity to compare our two cultures. We are very serious. They are more balancing and enjoying life, probably. I don't know. And we will end the evening in Madrid with a nice flamenco show that I'm sure that you will enjoy. You'll spend your last night in Madrid. Next day, probably we still have some time for shopping, because in Madrid you will have many shops. So it's time for shopping your last souvenirs and your last things that you'd like to bring with you. And it's time to leave. So according to the schedule of your flight, we'll transfer you to the airport. But we are not happy to leave you, because during 14 days, living such an adventure in Portugal and Spain with so many different activities and spending so much time together that we are going to enjoy so much, I'm quite sure it will be hard, but okay. See you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mariana. That was great. You really gave us a great insight into what this tour is all about and all the wonderful places you're going to see and experience and taste. And yeah, we're really looking forward to getting there. We can't wait.
Thank you. Obrigada.
Great. Well, thank you all.
You know, in Portuguese, I can teach you already a name. When you arrive, you know already. We say obrigado and obrigada. The man say obrigado. The lady, obrigada. So we say obrigada. Obrigada.
Obrigada, Mariana.
Obrigada.
Okay, so
Great.
now we can get to some questions, and Leanne, I'll let you take over here, and Mariana, you'll stick around to answer some of our questions as well. So,
okay.
Perfect. So we have a question from Holly, and she's wondering, is Portugal that green in October, just like the pictures?
In October, if it's like green, yes, of course. In October, it will be starting being green. Yes, 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 yes. If you
Good,
came in
good.
July, if you come now in June, July, August, it will be not well in the north, Minho and the Douro Valley. It's more or less all the time green. You know, it's well known like the green region of Portugal because of the wet of the Atlantic and the climate there. So we have always vegetation. When it comes through Lisbon and you cross from Lisbon to Cáceres, during summertime is drier, you know, very dry and very high temperatures. But in October is very moderate and very nice. Yeah.
Good, thank you. Okay, so Joy asked, can you accommodate a celiac-friendly, gluten-free diet? And so I believe that we should be able to accommodate. Just let us know ahead of time when you make your booking, and we can do our best to try to accommodate that. And then there will be option when you are on your own that you can choose what you would like to eat. Okay, Mary asks, how many participants are part of this tour? So Mary, we take a maximum of 20 ladies on these tours. These are small group tours.
Okay.
And Carrie asks, what are the temperatures there in October?
I'm always very scared to talk about temperatures and atmosphere because it doesn't depend on us. We cannot buy it, we cannot pay it. It is as it is, you know? But well, in temperatures, normally in October, during day is quite nice. I can even advance that sometimes in October, in middle of October, we have some sunny days, but be prepared for raining, mainly in Minho, because sometimes we have almost the 4 seasons in the same day, you know, in Minho, in the north. You can have a beautiful day, starting beautiful day, suddenly it will rain, and then it will let it up and it will be nice again. So I advise to bring a raincoat, of course, and be prepared for a t-shirt as well. Bring your swimming clothes because during our hiking tours in Minho, we have some lakes, some waterfalls, so we can have our swim. And of course, in some hotels also there are swimming pools, so bring your swimming pools anyhow, okay? And the temperatures in Celsius, normally it will be between 21 to 27, 28 during day. During evening, it goes down a little bit, but we don't care. We are at the hotel, so it's warm inside.
Perfect, thank you. So I guess dress in layers. You can experience all seasons in one day. So, and Wendy asked how many people are on the tour. So Wendy, there are a maximum of 20 people on this tour. This is a small group tour. Okay, I think that was all the questions that we had here. Let me just have a quick look here. Yeah, that looks like that's about it. Let me quickly see if I can check the Facebook and see if I can.
Thank you.
Lots of great comments of how interesting a tour looks and how beautiful their country looks. And they're looking forward to receiving the link so that they can find out all the details of this tour.
Perfect. Oh, I just got to the.
Oh, we do have a question here about where do we fly from in Canada? Well, of course, that's a great question because, you know, we do take passengers and guests from across the country, coast to coast. So as a rule, what we would do is meet in one location, central location. You can fly from any city of your choice in Canada and meet for this tour in particular would most likely be in Toronto and preferably fly as a group from Toronto over to Porto. And again, as a group from Madrid back to Toronto. So Toronto would be the central meeting point. Obviously, you could fly from Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Halifax, you know, meeting in Toronto and traveling together from there. So that's a great question. Hope I've answered that for you.
Okay, I thought I saw one more here, but I guess that was it. Okay, I think that looks like all of them then. Perfect. Well, thank you, Mariana, for joining us this morning, and to everyone else that has joined us.
You're welcome.
We
Thank you
hope that
very
you
much.
enjoyed.
Yes, I enjoyed a lot.
Perfect.
That I was clear in my explanations, and
Yes.
and everything you need, I mean, any information, any details, please just ask me and send me a mail, and I will try to explain and to give all the information you need
Sure.
about our service here. Okay.
Yeah,
And thank you very much.
Perfect.
And thank you very much. Thank you for this presentation, because you are helping to sell Portugal. So our country deserves it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's very nice to meet you and to watch you, because when we just have an email, we just write and it's different. But now when I will talk to you by mail, I have a face. It's completely different.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Mariana.
Thank you.
Mariana, if you're still there, we did have one question here. It says, you have short side tours for people interested in the Sephardic history in these communities?
Yes, we can organize. Yes.
Okay, perfect. No, that's great.
Yes, we
Great.
organize.
I think that was all the questions. Perfect.
All
Okay, great.
No more questions?
No, that was everything. And I just wanted to thank everyone here today for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our presentation on our Women Explorers tour to the incredible Portugal and Spain. And we hope that you can join us again soon as we continue our virtual presentation series. For more information on this tour or any of our others, please visit us online at westworldtours.com. You can email us explorers, that's XPLORERS @westworldtours.com, or follow us on Facebook, or you can contact your local travel agent. And thank you all again for joining us, and we hope you have a great afternoon. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Obrigada.
Obrigada.